All right, today we're jumping into a simple but honestly a really powerful story. It's about a little fox named Lumi and a discovery that didn't just change his world, but totally changed how he saw the night sky. Let's get right into it. So let's set the scene. Our story starts in this incredibly peaceful place. Just picture a forest so quiet that you can actually hear the leaves rustle under your feet. It feels like a world away from ours, but you'll see, it's got a lesson that hits close to home for all of us. And this is the question that really kicks the whole thing off. It's asking us to think about more than just a light in the sky, you know? It's about what happens when you see someone's inner light, their hope, start to flicker and fade. So our story really begins with this one single moment that changes everything. And it's not just about something literally falling out of the sky. It's about what you can find when you're actually paying attention. Okay, so let's meet our hero. This is Lumi. He's a small fox, and his absolute favorite thing to do was just sit and count the stars every single night. And it was this simple habit, this little ritual, that let him notice something was off. One star, just one, wasn't where it was supposed to be. Now, he could have just ignored it, right? But nope, his curiosity just took over. He followed this faint, soft glow, like a tiny little distress signal, and that's when he found it. A star, right there on the ground, its light barely holding on. It's such a powerful picture of how vulnerable any of us can feel sometimes. And here, this is where it gets really heartbreaking. The star itself speaks, and it's not just lost. It has lost all hope. It actually believes its purpose, its whole reason for being, to shine, is just gone, forever. This is the moment our story goes from a simple mystery to a real emotional rescue. And that brings us to the next chapter of the story, the highest hill. This is where our small hero, seeing the star's despair, decides he's going to do something about it. He's going to take on a huge task. Oh, this line is so important. Lumi doesn't just see a problem. He sees the solution. He immediately knows where the star is supposed to be, and he says it with this quiet confidence. This isn't pity. This is him reminding the star of its purpose. You know, it's one thing to know what's right, but it's a whole other thing to actually do it. The path wasn't easy. The journey was long, and that hill was incredibly steep. But Lumi just met every challenge head on. He didn't even hesitate. Let's just walk through this heroic moment. First, look at the care. He gently picks up the star. Then, the pure effort, climbing all the way to the very highest point he can find. And finally, that last act of release, giving it every ounce of strength he has to send that star back home. And the result? It's immediate, and it's absolutely beautiful. The star doesn't just go back to the sky. It shines with this renewed energy, brighter than it ever was before. It's home. And it's all because of one little fox who decided to act. Okay, so that's the story. But what is it really trying to tell us? Let's dig into the deeper meaning here, because this is where it gets really good. The star's thank you is everything. Notice it doesn't just say, you put me back. It says, you helped me shine again. Lumi didn't just fix a problem, he restored the star's spirit. He helped it get its light back. When you boil it all down, this whole story is a perfect picture of kindness. And we're not just talking about being nice. This is about a truly selfless act, doing something for someone else's well-being without expecting anything back at all. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? The physical act of tossing the star was just the how. The real impact was emotional. It was spiritual. Lumi wasn't just fighting gravity, he was fighting despair. And he won. And through this whole adventure, Lumi figures out something profound, a simple truth that kind of changes his whole perspective on the world. And there it is. That's the core message of this whole story. Just let that sink in. It tells us that your size, your power, none of that is what really matters. A small gesture can have this massive, brilliant impact that illuminates everything. So why does this story matter to us? Because it reminds us of our own potential. I think we all feel like a small fox in a big forest sometimes, right? But this story shows us that even our actions that seem insignificant can be the one thing that helps someone else find their light again. And that's where this beautiful little story leaves us. It's not just a nice tale, it's really a challenge. It's a question for all of us to think about, and more importantly, to act on. Thanks so much for joining us.